Hey everyone, Dr. Bob here. Welcome to the latest episode of Bobcast. I want to thank you all for being on to start with, as I always do, and thank you to those of you who are watching the recorded version later. I'm using some new equipment here tonight, so bear with me. Hopefully everything goes well. I've got an auxiliary mic here. Let's see how this works. But thank you for being on. Thank you for watching the recorded version. As always, I ask that you please share these Bobcasts out. You never know who might need to hear what we're talking about here. This Bobcast will be uploaded to my YouTube channel after the conclusion. And once it's uploaded, I'll put the link in the comment section below so that you can share that out if someone's not on Facebook or in the Facebook group with us. You can email it, you can share it through texting or whatever. And it'll also be available on my website in a couple of days. Usually put them up on a certain day of the week. And that's bobnormanjr.com. Click on the blog tab and it's actually a vlog and it'll take you right to that video again once it's posted. Hi Gail, thanks for getting on. So again, share it out. You can share it out through YouTube, my YouTube channel, my website, the vlog, or on Facebook here, of course, once we're finished. So let's jump right into this thing tonight. Now, last week, I talked about approval addiction and how so many people worry so much about what other people, how other people think, or what other people think of you. You know, we buy things, we do things, we go places to impress people that we sometimes don't even like, right? So this week's title, as you can see, is Mindset, How It's Supposed to Be. And it's closely tied in with last week's Bobcast about approval addiction. What screws us up most in life is worrying about how everyone else thinks your life is supposed to be. Gary Vee says it this way. If you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, fantastic. Follow him on all social media if you can. You'll pick up a lot of great stuff from him. But I'm going to read this to you. He says it this way. He says, the stuff you're trying to get or have or be because it's what everyone else says is how it's supposed to be, it's just like a Band-Aid or makeup for happiness. So what he's saying there is that people are trying to find happiness in things, in places, in the acceptance of others. So let me put a couple of scenarios to it, and I know this applies in real life to some people. What if you're 35 years old and most of your friends are married, most of them have a couple of kids, they're working a job, they maybe bought a house, whatever. And you're 35 and you're single and you're renting and you don't have any kids yet. Is something wrong with you? Are you inadequate because you're not like everyone else? Because that's how everyone thinks it's supposed to be? See, a lot of people put a time frame on life. Well, by the time you're 30, you should have accomplished this, this, and this. By the time you're 40, you should have this, this, and this. How it's supposed to be, I'm going to say something that you might think is a little controversial, but it's absolutely true. See, how it's supposed to be is what happened. You know, they're talking about college and how expensive it is and how much college debt there is. How it's supposed to be is what caused a lot of that. Because everyone said that you need to go to college, you need to have a college degree, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. And everyone felt pressure to do it, regardless of what it took. They didn't want to go to trade school. They didn't want to have internships. They had to go to college because that's how it's supposed to be. Hi, Shay. Shay, thanks for jumping on. Debbie, you too. And so we worry so much about what other people say is supposed to be going on in our own lives. We need to realize that we get to decide. I see you there. We get to decide what we want to be, what we want to have, what we want to do, what we want to experience. I know so many people that fall into that how it's supposed to be. So here's a question for you. Who dictates to you how your life should be? Should you be married and you're not? Should you have kids and you're not? Should you live in a certain house? Drive a certain car? Who decides that for you? Was it the advice or the opinions of your parents? Was it your friends? Is it peer pressure? It's 2021, and I would be willing to bet that a lot of it these days come from two places, more than any of the ones that I already mentioned. And those are Madison Avenue, so the advertising agencies, and social media. You see so many people, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the syndrome for the life of me, but you see so many people who get on social media. Now, what do we do on social media? We put our best foot forward in general, right? I mean, I get it. There are people that jump on there and rant and rave, but we generally unfollow those people, don't we? We get on there and we put our best things. If we had something exciting happen, right? When my daughter was in school, finished in school a couple of years ago, and she was on the president's list, I put it on there. I'm proud of her. When I finished my doctorate, I put it on there. I was proud of it. When I went skydiving, it was exciting. I love it. Put it on there. We put anniversaries on there. We put birthdays on there. Vacations are posted on social media, right? And other people are looking at these things, wondering why the hell their life isn't as exciting. Why am I not accomplishing all these things that I see for all these people? You know, when I was in school, so in the 60s and 70s, it was the same way. You still had the peer pressure. You had to have the cool shoes, the nice jeans, the brand jeans. Designer jeans came out towards the end of the 70s there, right? The Jordashes and all those brands. Cool car, be in the cool group. And I know it's changed these days with what's popular and what's considered to be important. Like now it's having an iPhone. We didn't know what the hell an iPhone was back then. It didn't exist. We had to use payphones. But now you have to have a certain iPhone. You have to have the newest Xbox. You've got to have this. You've got to have that. I think it's just become more magnified. It's become worse because of that magnification of social media. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people on social media posting the great highlights of their life. And you're sitting here in your living room and maybe your relationship just ended, or maybe you don't have that beautiful car, or maybe you don't live in that beautiful house, or you don't live at the beach, and you're feeling pretty inadequate about yourself. Because you're looking at their lives thinking that's how it's supposed to be. Now, if that's how you want your life to look, well, make it look that way. But don't let that dictate to you how it's supposed to be. I'm going to read you something here again real quick. Let me back up. I talked about Madison Avenue, right? Advertisers. That's Madison Avenue. They actually employ psychologists to help them understand what's going to make you buy a certain product. Now that's brilliant on their part, right? But it's not so brilliant on our part when we continually fall for it. And we can't help it because they are using psychology on us. But they determine what's going to make us buy a product. And 99% of the time, I made that up, but it's a lot, there is pain and pleasure attached to the product, right? You see an ad for a phone company, and grandma's sitting there and she's so upset. She misses her family and she's alone in the house and all the negative connotations you can come up with, right? Now, we bought this senior iPad and we give it to grandma, and now she's so happy because she can see us and she can talk to us even though we're 1,000 miles away. So if we buy this iPad made specially for senior citizens, it's going to make us feel great and grandma's going to be happy. What could be better, right? Now that may be a silly example, but it's that pain-pleasure example that psychologists in advertising use on us all the time to get us to think how it's supposed to be. Grandma's supposed to be super happy because she can look at us on an iPad. And if we buy that iPad, that senior iPad, then everything's going to be great. Or the ones that really get me are the medication commercials they have now, right? They have a medication commercial. I think the best one's for like the bladder control, and the lady's day just keeps getting interrupted. Her bladder keeps grabbing her by the hand and yanking her off to the restroom. And she goes to the doctor, and all of a sudden, she's in charge of her life again. And she's happy, and she's dancing with her friends at a party, and they're out celebrating, they're having dinners, and they're laughing around the table. Life is grand because you bought that medication. So Madison Avenue, using psychology and social media, are dictating a lot of things to people about how life is supposed to look and be. Let me tell you something. I live in the house I grew up in. I live in a tiny little country town of 18 houses, about half of which are my family. I think that's still accurate. What the hell right do I have to be broadcasting to the world right now? Well, if it's how it's supposed to be, I should be, according to some people, a little redneck hick who just sits here and cleans his guns, right? When I was, just before I turned 56, I got my doctorate. Who the hell did I think I was to go back to school? I'm old. I was retired. Who did I think I was to do that? Well, in the eyes of a lot of people, I'm old and retired and I should be, out playing golf, which I do a lot of, but I mean doing things that, retired people do, right? We dictate so much of our lives based on how other people think it's supposed to be. There's a great, talking about the Madison Avenue, there's a great Seinfeld bit, if you're a Seinfeld fan like I am, where he talks about watching TV commercials and they come on with a can of soda, and he's sitting there and he's drinking the same orange soda that's in the TV commercial. But in the TV commercial, they're playing volleyball on the beach and there's beautiful girls and there's the sun and the surf and the sand, and everyone is just so excited and so happy. I'm sorry, I got a message there from Facebook about some technical difficulties. But they're having all this fun and they're just doing all this stuff. And he says, I'm sitting here on my couch with popcorn crumbs on my chest, drinking the same orange soda. Maybe I'm not putting enough ice in it. So we look at these things. We look at social media. We look at TV commercials to determine how our life's supposed to be. If you know who you are, if you really know who you are, hi Bev, and what you want, and how you want your life to look, you'll be less likely to fall prey to these things. It's when we don't know what we want, when we don't know what we want our life to look like, when we don't know what we want to have, do, be, or experience, achieve, or accomplish, that we're subject to these influences of social media. When who I think I'm pretty bulletproof, I'm pretty confident in who I am and knowing what I want, and that doesn't mean I don't question myself and change those things around. But when I look at social media, Shay's on here, she's out on her motorcycle, right? Or she's out on vacation, on a trip, hiking in the Grand Canyon. Or when I see my friends on the beach, my brother Doc John lives down in Madeira Beach, right? Gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world. Sunsets are unbelievable down there. And he's posting pictures of it and stuff like that. I'm not jealous of him. I could move there if I wanted to. He wants me to. I can move there if I want to. I go there and visit a lot. But I'm not jealous of that. And I don't sit here and get depressed because I don't look out my window and see that. See, I look out my window and I see beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises. I know who I am, so I don't get jealous of my friends when they buy a brand new car. I'm happy for them. I don't have that brand new car. But I have my old Jeep that I restored in the garage, all lifted and fixed up, that I like. I don't get jealous of my friends. My best friend in this world, Brother Bob, my little brother Bob, bought a beautiful home on top of the mountain, up towards Somerset area, in that general area. I don't want to tell you where he lives, but not in the Uniontown Mountains, but up that way, Seven Springs area. Gorgeous home, dream home. I'm not jealous of him for having that home because I'm happy. I know who I am, what I want in my life, how I want things to look. I work toward things I don't have, and I'm grateful for the things that I do have. We all need to be that way. We all need to work to be bulletproof in our lives. If you don't have what you want in your life, whether it's a partner, a car, a type of house, a lifestyle, an accomplishment, that you're working toward it. Instead of sitting there being jealous of what other people have, because that's how it's supposed to look. It's been going on our whole lives. We've been told how things are supposed to be from the time we're kids by our parents, by our friends, what we see going on around us. And the thing that people don't do is they don't take time to sit and figure out what they want. They don't take time to figure out how they want their life to look. Now, they'll take a damn year and they'll plan a vacation, a 2-week or 1-week vacation, but they won't take a couple of days to figure out how they want their life to look. They wake up, like I said before, like it's an accident and just let life happen to them. And that's when you're subjected to how it's supposed to be. Because you don't know how you want it to be. You don't know what you want, how you want to live. So you look around for ways to live. And again, Madison Avenue and social media will be glad to tell you how you're supposed to live and how you should feel if you're not living that way. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous was a great show back in the 70s. It showed you all these lavish lifestyles, and if you didn't live it, you felt pretty damn inadequate. You'd see all these people on yachts and all these beautiful cars and beautiful women and all these things. But if you know who you are and what you want, and you either have it or you're going for it, that's when you're not subjected to how it's supposed to be. So who do you let dictate to you now how your life's supposed to be? Who is it? That's my question for you right now in closing. Who dictates to you how your life is supposed to be? Is it Madison Avenue, social media, peer pressure, friends down at the bar, people at work? Or is it you? It's an easy question for me to answer. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't look at other things and sometimes think, I kind of like that. You can use it as suggestions, things that you see around you on social media and things like that. But you need to make that determination, not your friends. Be bulletproof. Know who you are, what you want, and go for it. Stop letting everyone else dictate it to you. So again, the question in closing tonight is, who do you let dictate to you how your life should look? Me and my job. I get it, Shay. Shay says me and my job, meaning sometimes your life and your job, can dictate some things of your life. But who do you let dictate yours? That's the question in closing. Who dictates to you how your life should be, how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be out at the club every Friday night. You're supposed to drive this certain car, whatever. Who dictates that to you? If you can answer that question, even if it's not you, and figure out who it is, you may be able to clarify that. If you can't, or if you need help with that, that's where I come in. You can reach out to me, schedule a free consultation with me, and we'll get this figured out, whether we can work together. You can do that on my website, www.bobnormanjr.com. Click on coaching, and then go to the calendar. I'm going to just tell you here right now, coaching, bobnormanjr.com, coaching, there's a calendar, you can schedule an appointment. We'll talk to see if it's a fit, costs you nothing. If it is, then we'll go and we'll work together, and we'll help you figure it out. As I said before, I'll put that link in the comment section below as well. As I said before, thank you for being on. We went long. I get more and more passionate about these as we do them. Thank you for being on. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the recorded version, please share these out. Share them out on Facebook. Share them out from my YouTube channel. Again, I'll put that comment in the comment section below, the link for that. You can go to my website, bobnormanjr.com, click on the blog, and that's where my vlog is located. You can share it out from there, watch it from there. But again, if you need help with that, go to my website, click on the coaching tab. Again, I'll put that link in the comment section as well. We can set up an appointment to talk to see if we might be a fit to work together. I want you to have a great evening and a great, great Easter. Happy Easter to everyone. It's a wonderful holiday. I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy your Easter. If you're going out of town, travel safe. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week on the latest edition of Bobcast.